Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Lee's World Podcast. It is I, your host, Big Lee, coming to you once again from the Boom Boom Room right here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And first off, I want to thank everybody that listened to our last episode, our return episode after an 8-month absence. I appreciate everyone that has reached out, showed some love and support since that episode's dropped. And just want to know I appreciate everyone that has sent their love my way. I send much love back to y'all, and I appreciate it. And like I said in that last episode, what we're going to start doing these next few episodes is kind of getting caught up of what adventures or what craziness I have gotten into since that 8-month gap. One of the things I talked about is that trying to get back to a normal routine of trying to get out and about in my free time. For those of you that have known me for a long time, know that two of my favorite things to do is travel, go on adventures, which may be the same thing, kind of, sort of. But we'll cross that bridge later. So, what I want to talk about is it's kind of out of order, but it'll make sense in the long run. I want to talk about the second adventure that I've taken since the whole getting on the meds and trying to measure out everything and making sure it was right. And the reason I'm skipping the first adventure is it's going to tie into a episode that is coming later down the road here. So what I want to talk about is back in September, I went on an adventure to Little Rock. It was a couple weeks after everything started going with the meds and everything, and it was kind of my first adventure out by myself, basically. Just a day adventure, just to see how I would handle being back traveling by myself, dealing with crowds, things of that nature. And a reason I went down there is because Little Rock that weekend had the Arkansas Comic Con, which had a couple people that I wanted to meet there. And I'll get to that here in a little bit. But I just want to start out with just kind of, getting the, I don't want to say courage, because there's a lot of things out there that people can have courage and do. And still, even dealing with this 8 months in, I feel like, even though, these were steps for me, I don't necessarily think that I could say I feel like it was courage to try to get back out there. I know it sounds kind of strange because everybody's building and everybody's adventure and everyone's self-improvement is measured at different levels, but I'm just not a person that does well at measuring. But nonetheless, I agreed to myself that I was going to do this, and I would try 99.9% time to be a man of my word. If I'm ever not a man of my word, it's either A, I forgot, or B, something just did not line up in the process. So with that being said, I went to Little Rock. It was a fun time. It started out, one thing that I don't normally do early on time off is leave early. And the reason I did this was in the venture, something I had not done in a few years, was actually be able to meet my mom for breakfast on the way there. I was traveling from Cape. I stopped in a little town called Dexter, got breakfast with her. It's one of her favorite spots to eat breakfast. It's called the American Steakhouse. Like I said, it's one of her favorite spots to go eat breakfast. Usually, however, if I'm down there visiting, I don't get functioning up and working to get ready to make it in time for breakfast, or I'm not down there in general. So we haven't been there in a while. So, needless to say, making this trip, I wanted to make sure that I did it to where I could meet her for breakfast and kind of do it almost as like a surprise. So, I remember calling her that morning and saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, nothing, just sitting here at the house." "Why?" I was like, "Well, hey, I'm going to Little Rock today. I want to see about meeting you for breakfast." And she said, "Well, what time are you wanting to meet for breakfast?" And she's like, "Where at?" Because I'm not going to Little Rock to eat breakfast. And I laughed and I said, "Well, I'm headed out now, and I can meet you in Dexter in probably about like an hour." And I said, "We're going to American Steakhouse." And she thought I was joking at first, and I was like, no, I'm going that way. I wanted to leave early enough so I could have breakfast, spend some time with you, eat at your favorite breakfast spot. And she's all excited. She's like, yay, we're going to the American Steakhouse. So, anyways, we get there. She enjoyed it. It was some good food. And I got to spend some time with her before getting back on the road and going to Little Rock. So I get back on the highway, head down that way. I will tell y'all, this is probably the first time I've been to Little Rock since, I want to say when Machine Head played Juanita's. So I want to say that may have been the summer of 2013, 2014. So it had been at least 7 years since I had been to Little Rock. So I, one, forgot how long the drive it was there from Cape. And two, how unexciting the drive is. If you've ever drove from Little Rock or you're having to drive to Little Rock from here, just be advised, it is a boring drive. It is nothing exciting. It's a lot of small towns and highway and road work. But we'll get to the road work on the way back. So anyways, I'm on the road probably, I want to say, maybe 3.5 hours from Dexter, if I remember right, maybe 3.5, 4, to get to North Little Rock, to this convention center where the Arkansas Comic Con is. Just to give you some tips about the Arkansas Comic Con. Well, one, if you're not there early, you're in a mess for parking. Let me tell you. I had to pay I think $12 to park, and I still had to park 6 blocks down the way in 110-degree weather trying to walk back up there to the convention. So I was glad I brought a change of shirt, because by the time I got to the building, my shirt was drenched. And I was like, nah, I can't be taking photos and meeting and greeting with people if I'm all drenched and everything. So anyways, so we get in there. The main people I went to go see there was AEW women's champion, former women's champion, I think, at the time of this recording, Britt Baker, and my high school crush. So any of those 90s movies, like American Pie and things like that, Shannon Elizabeth was there. So I was like, okay, well, both of these are here. I can get my Britt Baker figure signed, and I can meet Shannon Elizabeth. I'm like, perfect. So we get down there. Yeah, hate to say it, I was already ready to leave by the time I got there and had to walk the 6 blocks to get to the venue from the parking. But nonetheless, we get in there. First things first, I go directly to the autograph table to get my Britt Baker figure signed, because I was like, okay, this is the main goal, because I've met Britt before. She didn't have the figure out. I want to get this signed, first edition figure. It's going to be a collector's item. I want to make sure that I get it signed. So I went through, got it signed, and then it's like, I'm going to go see Shannon Elizabeth. I go over to Shannon Elizabeth's table. None of the people that were advertised were there yet, or weren't at their tables. They weren't there for a good portion of that Saturday, which seemed really strange to me, knowing how back-end deals of conventions work and how they make their money. They can't make money if they're not at the table. So, needless to say, in the meantime, I went and did the pro photo op with Britt Baker, got it printed out, went back to the table, talked to Britt again, got it signed, walked around the convention a little bit, met some other people. They still aren't there. So at this point, I'm like, I'm not going to get to meet Shannon Elizabeth. And I talked to, I'm trying to remember the guy's name from Anchorman, the whammy guy. It's like David Kirshner, I think, is his, or however you say his last name. But anyways, I got to talk to him for a little bit. He told me he was from Missouri as well, so he was excited to meet somebody from Missouri. I was excited to meet somebody from Anchorman, so we had a great conversation there. And then right about the time that we were finishing up, the cast from American Pie, or a few of them that were there, were starting to come back to their table finally. Tara Reid was there. Shannon Elizabeth was there. What's her name? Mina Savuri, maybe? Something like that. And the kid from Rookie of the Year. I'm terrible at these if it's somebody like I know I want to see, like I remember them, but outside of that, like it's just terrible for me to remember. But anyways, I got to meet her, and I got to go up talk. It was a weird situation to meet them per se, because I don't want to get too much in a tangent of this, but I'm a firm believer that if you require vaccination cards to be shown, that you're vaccinated to get in, and you show your vaccination card, that it's okay if you get a picture with somebody you aren't wearing a mask in this photo. Like, that's the point of getting vaccinated, I feel like, is to get better, to meet and greet with people and do small social gatherings. And trust me, dealing with these people, I was like the only one that had stood around waiting to meet them. So there wasn't like 1,000 people waiting to meet any of them. So it was one of the weirdest processes of meeting somebody up until this day, because they literally had you like time off when you could take your mask down for the photo. They wanted to make sure you had gaps and you understood the waiver of not allowed to touch and things like. And I'm like, where do you think? Like, I know we're in Arkansas, but where do you think that it would ever be okay for someone just to randomly touch somebody? Why are you telling me that I can't do this when it's common sense that I would never do something like that? So, I don't know. It was a weird experience, and they go through the whole rigmarole of trying to tell you, hey, this is her policy for picture. I'm like, okay, sure, we'll do it. I just want to get a picture with my high school crush. So, needless to say, we go through all the process of it. I get the picture with her. I tell her how much I love 13 Ghost. She was like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm going back to play on my phone. So, it's cool to say I got to meet her, but would I do it again? Probably not. Tara Reid was there, but it was kind of one of those cases, like, she wouldn't even take pictures with people without their mask. Like, she wore a mask during the photo, not a cool mask or anything like that, but one of them giant, like, white diaper-looking things over her face, and it's like, wait, these people are here to spend their hard-earned money to meet you, and there's got to be some kind of give and take. Like, if you want to wear a mask, even though everybody's supposed to be vaccinated that's here, I get it. I mean, that's your personal choice, but you can at least do something where it's not as obvious that you have this giant thing over your face to where I don't know if you're just not wanting people to know who you really are there, but you could at least do something colorful or something that kind of makes it feel like you're there, you're approachable, and you're not making the vendor take a hit for having you there. But that's my soapbox on it, and I don't know, it was just a whole crazy experience. This was my first time going to Arkansas Comic Con. I will say that they had a lot of anime people there. I'm not big into anime or know really anything about it, so I'm just kind of like, well, okay. But I will say they had the most lines instead of the actors and things like that. The only non-anime person that had a really long line was Sting, which, of course, Sting's a legend, so it doesn't surprise me. So, anyways, we spent a few hours there just kind of walking around, killing time for them to get back. Once they got back, I knew it was time to make that venture, that 6-block hike back to my car, which I thought I was going to die by the time I get there because I'm too fat to be walking in 110-degree heat 6 blocks to try to find my car. But that's neither here nor there. So, anyways, get in there. I had plans to go eat, things of that nature. There was a cool concert right there by the venue, but I was too exhausted. I couldn't eat. I couldn't go to the show. I was like, I just got to get back on the road and get to the house. So, needless to say, I hurried up, got out of Arkansas, or got out of Little Rock really quick, and started to venture back. Took a different way so I could go visit some more with Mom. So I ended up going the back way up through northeast Arkansas to the Boot Hill to see her and spend some time with her some more. And I tell you what, I thought the drive down there was bad. The drive back was even worse because the road work was atrocious. I thought Missouri was bad with road work. I thought Illinois was bad with road work. Arkansas may just beat them both with their road work. So, Arkansas Department of Transportation, if you somehow hear this or anything like that, make sure to please get it together and get your road construction done, because overall Little Rock is a cool town. I wouldn't mind to go back, but I don't want to have to deal with all the headaches of the road work and getting lost in the road work and things of that nature. So with that being said, overall it was a short trip to Little Rock. It was cool to finally make it back down there. I tried to reach out to some folks that I knew down there, and unfortunately they were busy. So shout out to Tiffany from all the GCW events. I don't know why my mind just went blank there. Next time I'm down there, probably try to coordinate a little earlier to see about getting dinner down there. Same with Natty. Congrats, by the way, on having a kid. That's awesome. I'm glad that life is going well for you now. And I'm glad that you found your, I guess what they call the happily ever after. Natty was a good friend for a long time. She moved down to the Arkansas, New Orleans, and things of that nature, and it seems like life is going really good for her, so I'm happy to hear that for her. Once again, congratulations. And same with Tiffany, that next time I head down that way, I plan to try to give a little bit more heads up notice and try to schedule up something to have dinner or something like that with you all. So overall, it was a fun trip. It was a good one to get on the road by myself with, just to kind of see. Nothing too crazy. I know the difference analysis or diagnosis or whatever you want to call it with the anxiety that we talked about in the other episode. The ICW trip was when we went to Indy. It was kind of rough in the fact of, like, I drove all that way just to go to a show and then just kind of sat in my hotel the entire time and then go back to the show and then go directly back to the hotel. And that was kind of one of the things I wanted to get away from. And like I said, there was another trip. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk about the Chicago adventures a few episodes down. But we'll cover more of that. And, it was a slow process with that first Chicago trip. But it got better and better. And like I said, we'll talk about that in a future episode. And with that being said, I want to kind of bring this one to a wrap. As always, I appreciate all the love and support. Everybody that's stuck with me, everyone that's continuing on this journey with me here, I appreciate it. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Big Lee's World. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, shoot us an email. I was going to say give us an email. Shoot us an email at bigleesworld.com. If you want to rep the brand out in public and show your love to everybody you know, or you need a good holiday gift for somebody, make sure you go to bigleesworld.com and pick up a Big Lee's World shirt. They look great. They feel comfortable. They make great gifts. Give it to somebody you love. Give it to somebody you hate. It doesn't matter to me as long as they wear it. But anyways, all jokes aside, I appreciate all the love and support. If you've missed any episodes previously, hit up your favorite podcasting platforms or go to bigleesworld.com to check out the past episodes and to get caught up and kind of see where everything's at now. And as always, I appreciate the love and support. Thanks for listening. Have a great one. As always, 2 scoops of whoop, whoop, whoop.